Hello and welcome to another edition of Anti-Doping Updates. This is episode number 6. We've got some great stories to talk about today. We've got an EPO case. We've got a missed whereabouts findings case. And we've got an allegation of intentional spiking or sabotage case. So 3 great cases to talk about. Let's get started. First up is Viktoriya Khápilina. She is a marathon runner, ranked 238th in the world, and in October of 2020, she participated in the Wizz Air Sofia marathon in Sofia, Bulgaria, won it, placed first, and had a personal record time of 2 hours and 27 minutes, which was a 5-minute PR for her. At the test, at the competition, she provided a urine sample, which tested positive for erythropoietin. That's also known as EPO. And there's 2 types of EPO. One is erythropoietin, which is a naturally produced substance that is secreted by the kidney in response to cellular hypoxia, which is a lack of oxygen. It's an essential hormone for red blood cell production. Recombinant erythropoietin is made using DNA technology, and it is not a naturally produced substance. It's used to treat anemia resulting from chronic kidney failure. However, used improperly, it can result in death, myocardial infarction, stroke, and tumor recurrence. So it's a very dangerous drug. And until the early 2000s, there was not a testing that could distinguish between naturally produced EPO and this recombinant EPO that is a banned substance. Starting in the early 2000s, the testing technology had evolved so that they could distinguish between those two, and that's led to some positive tests. So that's what happened to Viktoriya Khápilina. She tested positive, and the Athletics Integrity Unit is the disciplinary body that handles the discipline cases for World Athletics. They found that this was an intentional violation and sanctioned her for 4 years. Ms. Khápilina did not contest that, and therefore she ended up with the 4-year sanction for an intentional violation. So she just didn't contest that at all. The next case is Bralon Taplin. He is a 28-year-old 400-meter sprinter from Grenada, ranked number 10 in the world, placed 7th at the 2016 Olympics in the 400 meters, and 5th in the 2018 Commonwealth Games in 400 meters. And he has a personal best of 44.38 seconds for the 400 meters. In 2019, the Caribbean Regional Anti-Doping Association sanctioned him with a 4-year sanction for evading a test. He was participating in a competition and was selected for doping for providing a sample, and instead of providing the sample, he left the competition site and took a flight from Grenada back to Texas, where he lives, the next day. That case was appealed to the Court for Arbitration of Sport, and that sanction was upheld. So his 4-year sanction was set to run from September 2019 to September 2023. But that's not what this story is about. It's not about evading the sample. This is about whereabouts findings. So in March of 2020, the Athletics Integrity Unit found that Bralon Taplin had 3 whereabouts filing failures in a 12-month period and sanctioned him with another doping violation for 2 years. Bralon Taplin requested an administrative review and a hearing, and his main contention was one of the 3 tests, the one on November 25th. He argued that he had an emergency situation that day and that therefore that test should be excused, and if one of the tests is excused, then that means he doesn't have 3 missed tests in a 12-month period. His argument about this November 25 test was that he was arrested and had to appear in court. The documents that he provided in the hearing showed that yes, he was arrested on November 20, but when he was released, he signed papers indicating that he had to appear in court on November 25th. So between November 20 and November 25, he knew that he had to appear in court on the 25th, and therefore he could have updated his whereabouts filings to indicate that, but he didn't do so. He also argued that he had a medical condition and that caused him to miss the test, but the Athletics Integrity Unit didn't find that argument plausible either. They found that Bralon Taplin hadn't shown a medical diagnosis, nor had he shown that his medical diagnosis caused a cognitive impairment, nor had he shown that the cognitive impairment led to the missed test on November 25th. This was more just a matter of speculation or argument on Mr. Taplin's part, and so they didn't accept that. However, they did accept that due to the circumstances of being arrested and having to appear in court, that could lead to some distraction, and so they reduced the sanction from 2 years down to 18 months. But this is a second violation for Mr. Taplin. Remember, he had the 4-year sanction for evading the test earlier from 2019. So under the World Anti-Doping Code, the framework for what happens when you have a second violation is there's 3 possibilities, and you're supposed to implement the lesser of the 3. So it's the greater of 6 months, half the period of ineligibility from the first offense, or double the period of ineligibility from the second offense. So using this framework, they found that they took the 18-month sanction from the second event, doubled that, and so a 3-year sanction on top of his already 4-year sanction. And so that runs consecutively. So first he's got his 4-year sanction, and that ends on September 29th, 2023. And then his 3-year sanction is going to start after that. So he is banned up until 2026. And so he's going to miss the 2020 Olympics, and he'll miss the 2024 Olympics if he decides to continue his athletic career at that point. That's a hard sanction for him, but he's got some significant violations there. Now, the third case to talk about is really interesting. Kate Jessica Fu Kune, who is a badminton player from Mauritius, which is a country in northern Africa. She's ranked 108th in the world, and she competed in the 2016 Olympics, where she was the flag bearer from Mauritius, and she's a very popular sporting figure in the country of Mauritius. In April 2019, at the African Badminton Championships in Nigeria, she tested positive for androstenedione. Androstenedione is an anabolic steroid prohibited by the World Anti-Doping Code. In the 1990s, there were a number of Major League Baseball players using it to increase muscle mass and power, and led to a lot of home runs from them. But it's prohibited under the World Anti-Doping Code. The World Badminton Federation handled the results management, and their hearing panel found that this was an unintentional violation, and that she had no significant fault or negligence, and disqualified her from the competitive results, but no period of ineligibility. The Badminton World Federation appealed that decision to the Court for Arbitration of Sport. The Court for Arbitration of Sport held a de novo hearing with new evidence and included a scientific expert testimony that wasn't present at the first instance hearing with the Badminton Federation. Kate Fu Kuhn's argument was that her water bottle was intentionally spiked by someone. She argued that that was the result of the test. Her argument was that 6 months prior to this competition, she had testified in an ethics case against a Mr. Raj Gaya, who was the president of the Mauritius Badminton Federation. And that case, the result of that investigation was Mr. Gaya was banned for life by the World Badminton Federation and fined $50,000. And another whistleblower also in that case was the person was part of the Mauritius Badminton Federation. He brought this case to light, and he was banned from the Mauritius Badminton Federation. So Kate is arguing that there is a lot of bad blood between the Mauritius Badminton Federation and herself, and that led someone acting on behalf of Mr. Gaya to spike her water bottle during the competition, and that was the result of her positive test. Now, when this case got to the Court for Arbitration of Sport, first off, none of the parties argued that this was an intentional violation. Everyone agreed it was an unintentional violation. So the starting point is 2 years rather than 4 years for intentional violations. However, the court found that in order to be successful with her defense, Kate would have to show how the substance got into her system. And while she had some evidence regarding motive, the bad blood between the Mauritius Badminton Federation and herself, she hadn't proved how the substance got into her system. She didn't prove who had access to her water bottle, or that it was possible or plausible that someone was able to spike her water bottle with the androstenedione. Also, the Court for Arbitration of Sport had scientific expert evidence that if there was some spiking of androstenedione in her water bottle, that would significantly alter the color, taste, and appearance of the water, such that Kate would have known something was up with the water bottle. And her testimony at the hearing was that she did not notice anything different about her water that she used during the competition. And so the result of that is the Court for Arbitration of Sport rejected the defense of intentional spiking. They found that this was an unintentional violation, and therefore a 2-year sanction with no reduction. And so that was what they found. So those are some interesting cases, and it brings up some interesting points about what an athlete has to show if they want to present a defense of their case. If you found these videos helpful or instructive or entertaining, please tap that like button gently, hit the subscribe button for more notifications, and I'll be looking forward to another update next week. Thanks.